Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here for Jolly Bar Monday. I am so excited about how this quilt is turning out. I'm doing the alternate layout, and here's a picture of where it is right now. I just love it. This is going to be so darling. I am going to talk about those half square triangles for the border area in a little bit, but let's just keep in mind where this is and what the colors are, because now we're down to less pieces of the Jolly Bar, less of the Jolly Bar, of the Jolly Bar units to cut from. And so there's a few decisions, and I am actually going to look at what fabrics I'm going to use for the block for this week and the block for next week. That way I have in mind exactly, and I'll know exactly where the fabric placements are, since there's very few fabrics left and only the 2 weeks to go. So this week from the Jolly Bar book, we are doing the block called Westward. So this is a sheet that you can download, and you can see here the Fat Quarter Shop's Kimberly Jolly's block. So she shows you what she's doing for her project. But let me show you in the book, because the block for the quilt in the book looks really different than how we're using it in the sampler. So here it is in the book. So they're done to do this like a wreath, I would call it. So they're sort of around in a wreath, and you can really see it in their pieced block picture, and I think it's harder to see when you look at the diagram. So, and then you can see this is the quilt that would go together if you're going to use a Jolly Bar to do the whole quilt, to do Westwood. So I need to decide what fabrics from what I have left, because the block after that is the friendship bracelet, which I've been doing for my, full-size quilt. So let's take a look at the fabric I have left. See, it's a beautiful day. I'm taping this, but it's a little chilly. I've got this is the window that's by my desk. I thought I'd just leave the blinds up today. I hope it's not too distracting. So here is the fabrics. Okay, let's put these guys over here. So I grouped them by color, because for today, for our project, for this unit, we're going to make 4 of these, and you need to read the pattern in the book, because that will tell you what size to cut everything. It's not the same as what we were doing before. So I need to pick, I want to make all these different. That's pretty much what they did. So that would be like 8 fabrics, 2 per unit. You need 4, so that's 8 of the fabrics. So I want to do a variety, and I first put them by color. Like here are the units I have left that are the Jolly Bar strips that are black. These are the purple ones, which for some reason a lot of your monitors need calibrated. It is a very pale plum, a really dusty pale plum. It's not orange. This is orange. So you can see the checkerboard is purple and the candy corn is orange, or peach actually. So there was one with the green background, some here with the peach, and then one with the white. All right, so what I'm going to do actually, let me just change my mind, is I'm actually going to pick what I need for this block next. And that one, for the sampler, she did it with just 3 fabrics, and it tells you to pick 3 fabrics. The plaid, they have this tonal, and the print around the outside. So I need 3 fabrics. So that is a little bit chunkier block. I've made a bunch of those now, so I kind of know the feel of it. And I think what I want to do is, because there's 2 of these kitties, I want to use the kitties again. And I think I will use this green to go with it. And then which one? So these would be like the corners. And then in between on the friendship bracelet, so that you see the friendship bracelet here, that's this one. So you have the 4 corners, and then you have this, center unit. I could do either the candy corn in the white, or I could do the candy corn in the peach. So I kind of like the peach, because remember, it's going to be on black. So the alternate here will be, there's a piece of black. So it's going to be against black. So it'll be pop, pop, pop. So I think I'm going to do these 3. So these 3 will be saved for next week. So I'm going to put them aside. so I don't accidentally use them. And now the rest of these will go to our block for this week. And if I want to do 4 of these, 2 fabrics each, I need pairs of 2, right? Pairs of 2. So if I want to, I would do like maybe this black with this purple, this plum with this one, with the candy corn, and then, so there's 3 sets. And you actually get 2 out of each, but I want to make it a little bit, you know, a little bit more mixed up. So what I will do is cut from these, and then 2 of these I will make the 4th set. So then there will be extras. And from the extras, I will keep those for more half square triangles. So that way I'm going to mix it up rather than having them so identical. Because these are made with half square triangles, then I can mix them up. You could even do them so they weren't pairs if you wanted, but I like the effect that it gives if they're a pair. So I will show you that after I sew up the half square triangles. So I have all of these stack of half square triangles, or the units before I make the half square triangles. So it's making 2 at a time per the instructions in the Jolly Bar book. But I thought it would be interesting to show you several different rulers that will let you take this half square triangle to the correct size, because we all either own these rulers already and haven't been using them or haven't used them lately, or you might be looking for a different way. So we all think a little bit differently, and one way could all of a sudden be the one that's like, yeah, this just fits me perfectly. I love doing it like this. So I'm going to show you that. We're going to go down here. The one thing I do have that is really valuable for this is the rotating cutting mats. I like the Olfa one. It doesn't rock. It's it's got this nice flat back on it. So, and it's got a rotator in the middle. There you go. You can see that. That's what it's rotating on. But I really like these. And with doing these, several of these rulers, you need to possibly rotate, and one you definitely have to rotate. And so this makes it nice because you do not have to pick anything up, as you will see. So to start every one of these, you have to cut this in half. You know, I've got it in a light gray thread, so you can see on the back. You need to cut them in half so that you can get working. So you can just take any ruler and trim in the middle so that you have 2 half square triangles. So this is your start. Now, one sort of traditional way that you can use the ruler that you already have, and that would be to take your line. So on the ruler you already have, take this diagonal line that goes from corner to corner, and that has to go on the seam. So it does, you know, you have to eyeball it on the seam. And then you want to be sure you have some room all the way around for the sides that you're going to trim, because you're going to trim 2 sides, rotate this, and trim the other 2 sides. Now the thing here is this does slide a bit because there's nothing to hold it in place. So you want to be sure you have a good grip, and you trim 2 sides. And this is the way, you know, maybe many of you do it because you may not have a ruler, but if you have your rotating cutting mat, you can just take this, put it down to the other side so it's right in the corner of where you want to be. Be sure that diagonal is always there, because if it's not, you are going to have corners that are not corners anymore, and then therefore you chop off your points and things like that, and that's how that happens. So this is with the traditional ruler. Okay, now there are some other fun rulers. The one that I show you all the time is the Quilt in a Day, where you will place whatever number you are working on onto a line. Let me see, I'll do it on this black background. So this one I've shown you a ton. Once again, you still have four trims, unless you don't trim off the little dog ears, which I like trimming the dog ears. So that means four cuts again. Let's see, put that back on the line and trim off these little pieces that sometimes get sucked down into your feed dogs. Then you would press this open and it would be the correct size. All right, let's try another ruler. There's one called the Folded Corner Clipper, and it now, can you see that? And it is now with Creative Grids. So this is a original one with the original people. And this one you are going to be using, let's see if I can, see if you can see it there. So it has a diagonal line here, and that line goes on the seam. So you have the seam and you put that line on the seam, and then you still, because most of the time this is not going to be a perfect, you know, you can't just do one side. You're still going to have to do two sides because it's never quite perfect. So in this case, I would put it on the side, and because I'm right-handed, I need to adjust this. So you put it on the side, and I would cut off that end, trim there, and now either pick it up or whatever, but I need to get to the other corner. Okay, so now I can get nestled down in there exactly where I want to be, so that the bottom edge is on the line I need, and then the little part that I cut off is there, and I'm doing the other side. So once again, you know, 4 cuts. I think they all take 4 cuts. So the last one, then you would press this open. So the last one I want to show you is the block lock ruler. Oops, that's the half square triangle. So here's the block lock ruler, and it is a little bit different. They cost a little bit more, but they have this, do you see the ridge? See that frosted? That's actually an insert. I mean, not insert, it's actually cut out. You see if you can see it there. Let me get the, I think you can see it. Yeah, now you can see it. See the ridge? So that is a dug in ridge in the ruler. And that is going to push down on your seam where you've done this folding over. So like on your half square triangle, you want to press to one side. This ruler you need to press to one side. So if you're pressing open, you're not going to get the same benefit. So press to one side. Now the logo is important. The logo goes on the side that does not have a seam allowance. So this is, there's no seam allowance because this dug in ridge is offset. So I'm going to push it down here. So now it's basically, I can slide it and stops. It stops at the ridge on the fold. So I want to be sure that there's enough to trim on all 4 sides. So once again, we're trimming 2 sides. And then because I've got the rotating cutting mat, I will rotate it. Now this is kind of neat because what you do is you just slide it down, and now the other 2 corners, these will be perfect where you need to be. It's still locked in place, and you trim these 2 sides. So once again, they're all 4 cuts. The block lock, a lot of people feel like it gives them so much stability because of this ridge that's cut into it so that you will be pushing against that seam. Okay, though, oh, I'm a little close there. So that's 4 different ways, and there are other rulers out there on the market. But one neat thing is if you have this trimmer and you see the Creative Grids version, they're the same. They purchased this company and put their Creative Grids on it. So they are the same ruler. So if you, many people have this one, and it does a lot of other things. You can go on YouTube and just put in the name of folded corner clipper, and you'll find other ways it is used. People use a lot for some binding and stuff like that. Alrighty, now I want to show you how this block looks when it is in that sort of fan like the pattern has. So let me just for 1 second press a few more of them open. So like magic, I have all of the units together, so they're all in that sort of arrowhead shape. Let's take a look at how they would be if you were making that full quilt, because I think that that's like, I'm just smitten with that. Oh, first, before we do that, this is it. This is what was left from trimming all of these half square triangles. So it's a very frugal trim. So you do not have, there's nothing left for me to work with on the crumb blocks. This is definitely trash. And I know some of you save this. Good for you if you're making dog beds or animal beds. That's awesome. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. And I'm going to come back to talk about these half square triangles in a minute. But let's look at the layout if we were going to do it by like the book. So the book would be in sort of this, I call it a wreath. I think it looks kind of like a wreath. There we go. So it goes all the way around. So you've got an arrow pointed this way, then down. It's like a rotating clock. You know, you just rotate, rotate, one turn. You know, so it's like rotate, 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 rotate. So there would be if you were doing the one in the book. Now we are, for the sampler, they're laid out differently. They're laid out so the arrow points are opposite and the open is in the center. So that gives you blocks like this. So I will use this floral fabric in one in each set, so they will be separated. So there'll be one up at the top here and one down at the bottom. I like it. And then also you'll see on the sampler that they are separated by some black, so it sort of elongates this piece a little bit. Looks really good. So do I have a black piece? I can just mock up here. There you go. So it makes it like this. So it's a little bit wider, and that's really cool. I mean, that would just be a very cool quilt. You could do like a whole bunch of them and it would look like, it's kind of like lanterns. Look at that. Wouldn't that be cool? You could just do, wow, I like that. So many options. All right, let's discuss the half square triangles. So what I did is I made, right now that picture, I'll put the picture up here again. So I separated these into sets of 9. So there's 4, a corner, and 4 down on each end. Next week, when we do the last block, I will give you the measurement if you use as many half square triangles as you can between where the blank is, where the black is. Because some of you may only want to put a couple, like the original pattern, and then use all of these to do like some pillows or table runners or matching placemats. I mean, you can use them to do something else, but if you decide you want to use them all in this quilt, then I will give you a new measurement to get them all in there. I think I may end up being able to get, I may end up just with 9 and then some leftover ones. I'm not sure I can get enough to make it even, so we'll see. We'll see. It is longer, so I could do more on this side, but less across the top. So maybe each batch would be 10. So we will see. I'll see when I get there, because I'm sort of figuring that out as I go along and not worrying too much about getting that all figured out in advance. Makes life easier for me. Okay, we're going to do the Sew Sampler box, which I have not even looked at. I think I did crack the tape on it so I can get into it. But the Sew Sampler box is a subscription box from the Fat Quarter Shop. You can get on the wait list because people, join for a while and then drop, and so then they have openings because they only make so many of these boxes. But I love being surprised. That is the whole fun of it for me. And so I open them here after they have revealed it, but I don't look at what they show at all because that's no fun. I don't want to know. So let's see. Let's take a look here. So they have a theme called Town Square. It's got a cute little house. Look at that house. So is this the last one of the year? No, I think this is the first. I think this is the start. This is the start. Wait a second, let's go back. Yeah, I need to look that up. But I believe this is the start of the next session of them, because they do a sew along with this, so you get a free pattern each month. And this time it is going to be, it's designed by my friend Sherry McConnell. And so it's using her fabric, and she's designed it. But you'll get a pattern in there for that every sampler box, which is once a month. So what do we have? We have some pretty fabric. Sunday Stroll. So here's some pretty fabric. Let's just open it up, because what the hey, you gotta open it up. So Oh, good, it's not crazy hard to open. So there is, it's a new fabric line by Bonnie and Camille. Look, the pretty great big floral. That's a big floral. Those are big, look like, to me, they look like dogwoods. And then they've got, so this is a sampling of what is in that line, and the box should have a pattern to use it. And then there's the little strawberries. They've done this before, that strawberry fabric, because I have it in pink. And then a gingham. So cool. So what did they send along for the pattern? All right, so here is a pattern that is free with the box that shows you to use these, plus a lot of background fabric. So, and then they give you different sizes. So you have different sizes to make depending on what you want to do, and you could actually make, it says here, this is cool, you could make 3 table runners. So that would be an awesome gift. Wouldn't this be an awesome gift if you're going to a picnic this summer and you want to take a hostess gift to the, you know, people hosting the picnic, or host a gift. Maybe you're getting to go to a good barbecue. I don't know, I always think guys do the barbecue more than the women, but you know, that's really, we all do barbecue. But men seem to like to grill, don't they? They just do. So what else do we have in here? This new size of square into square papers. I like that, 3-inch, because that would use a lot of great scraps, wouldn't it? This would be a fun one to do. I'm like into these little, into the scrap stuff, right? They also give you a little guide every time. And then here is the block, which will be the sampler. So each month you will get another block for this sampler. Ah, this is cute. Iron on labels. Does it say iron on? Keep It Quilting label set. It's a 12-pack of labels. Or maybe they're sew-in labels. Tells you, yeah, they're just sort of a, like, it's got an iron on the back. So you can just, are they all different? All that set's all irons. Let's see. There's a sewing machine and a pin cushion, so that you can tag these with your quilt. There's some thread. Oh, that's cute. So you can sort of use it as, it's a label, so you can put it with your project that you're giving away. And then we have a super cute zippy bag. Look at that. Let's get it out of the plastic. Oh my goodness, I love it. That is darling. Darling, darling, darling. So that should be online. I will look for you. And then you get coupons. Because, I can't show you the coupons, but because it is their anniversary, let me come back up here. Because it's the anniversary, the coupons are pretty good this time. So, you know, check also for the dates when you have these, and be sure you get a chance to use them all. Every time that you get a sampler box, you do get coupons also, which makes it even more cost effective because you're more than likely going to be buying something in the near future, so that works out really well for you. It always works out well, right? You get a coupon. I love coupons. I think I did coupons before it was a thing. Like, I can remember back in the 70s doing coupons. I don't know, was the coupons the thing in the 70s? I did them. I love coupons. Well, they were the green, I think my granny did the green stamps, and that sort of got me into, not that the couponing was the same thing, but you know, that really got me into thinking, well, I can look, if I'm going to buy it anyways, and the store is willing to give me a coupon, then I'm going to use it. I didn't get a college education for nothing. That's like... All right, so I want to tell you some more May stuff. So you have your calendar download, but there's a couple of things. I have work-wise for me in May, it's going to be, I have to be quite focused. So I have to stay on track. There is going to be, on Wednesday, I'll be able to announce the next Wednesday sew along. So be sure that you are on the Wednesday, come watch the Wednesday video when you go download the Wednesday block of the week. I will be telling you the theme for the next Wednesday block and the fabrics that I'm using, and the fabrics are all available. Yes, plus some backing options, which are also available. So everything got organized for that one now, so I'll tell you about it on Wednesday. It doesn't start until July, the first Wednesday in July. So there'll be a break in between, which there'll be something else fun that we'll be doing. So the other things I have to do is I have to get the rest of the stuff organized for my virtual book tour for the new book. Yes, where is my book? I forgot to bring it here. Do I have it? Yes, wait. Yeah, the holiday. Ta-da-da, this one. So I have 14 days It starts on May, last Monday in May, and goes for every day for 2 weeks. We will go visit one of my friends who is doing a project from the book, or a block from it, or a mini, or a reduced size of it. Like maybe they'll do a pillow instead of, you know, a table runner, or a pillow instead of a quilt. So you'll get to see their style. Some of my friends that are doing this are fabric designers. Some of them do a lot of really interesting type of fabric combinations. So it's going to be really, really fun to see what they come up with. So that'll be the first 2 weeks in June, but starting on the last day of May, on that Monday, which is Memorial Day, actually. So that'll be a fun little thing you can do when you take a break. And then the other thing I have to do in May, which is not work, but no, it is work. Did I tell you the work part? No, I have to, I have to deliver the book for 2020. So May, I have to finish all that up, and I'm trying to do it by the middle of the month. So I have a lot to do still. So I'm going to have to be really, really focused and work on that. So it's going to be harder for me to get my daily cross stitch in. I may only get a few stitches every day. It's going to be hard to do those things, but I'm going to try. I'm really going to try. I'm going to take some breaks and sit outside, because, you know, it gets a little crunchy sitting up at the computer all the time like this. And, you know, it's like, we gotta be sure I move, which means I also am going to walk every day and do my yoga every day. I think the only day I'm not going to walk would be one where it's pouring rain. You know, if it's pouring rain, I won't walk, but I'll try walking around the house. Maybe that'll be enough. But I do like this tracker. So I've been using the tracker, and it tells me, I have it set to tell me, I think every hour, if I haven't moved recently, when that hour comes up, it sends a little message. I think that's how, well, maybe it just sends it every hour anyways. It sends a message, but I also have gotten in, I put my timer on it to 8,000 steps. So I figure if I can get 8,000 steps a day, yes, that's good. All right, my friend. I hope you enjoyed seeing how those rulers work. I think one of the most interesting parts of showing each of those rulers, one right after the other, is that they are different, but they're also giving you the same result. So I had 4 different rulers I showed you, and they all took 4 cuts to trim the half square triangle. They just went about it a different way. So the probably most stable one that a lot of you really like are the block locks, because it doesn't slide at all if you've got it locked against the seam allowance. So, and if you don't have any specialty rulers, you just have a regular square with a ruler with a line, you can certainly do this, no problem whatsoever. All right, my friends, I love you. Links are down below. I'll see you online. Mwah.